Welcome back to another podcast in our series Q&A with Tampa Bay. This month we are going to be answering questions around intimacy and sex in relationships, as well as some questions about what's going on in our environment today, what's going on in our world with the hurricanes, wars, holidays, our political environment, and some of the anxiety and uneasiness that's creating in our community. I am Kate Evanoff at Tampa Therapy and Wellness.
I'm Dr. Rosana Marzullo-Dove, and I want to thank everybody that sent us the questions. So keep sending the questions, and we're going to keep answering every week.
All right.
Let's start with the first one.
That first one, let's get into it. So we have a question here, and this is one we get quite often. I haven't had sex with my partner in a long time, and we never talk about it. Is this a red flag, or is this normal for some couples? And the level of sex, are we having the right amount of sex? We haven't had sex. This is an ongoing topic in couples therapy and in relationships. And I think a lot of times it has to do with the expectations that each one of you has coming into a relationship. Understanding how each one of you is feeling about sex and your sexuality, and understanding that that can change over time. It ebbs and flows, and it can change based on the stressors that are going on in each one of your lives. It certainly changes with hormones throughout women's lives and men's lives. So the red flag comes when you aren't free to discuss it, less than about.
For me too, she asked if it was normal.
Yeah, there you go.
My point of view is like, remember that communication about sex class that you slept through it? Yeah, you did not take the class, right? Nobody took that class. So most people, they don't know how to communicate about sex. So the first part is you have to learn that skill. You have to learn outside the bedroom how you approach your partner. To say, no, that thing that you did last night kind of worked, I liked, or did not work so well, kind of hurt. But you have to find that moment and the language and form that narrative.
Yeah, that's really important. And I think the discussion around sex is so wrapped up in fear of rejection. It's such a sensitive topic. And when one partner makes an overture and the other partner says, oh, not tonight, I'm not feeling it, and that might happen a couple times in a row, that can start to just degrade the ability to communicate about sex. If you're not able to address it, you're going to get inside your head thinking, I'm undesirable, my partner doesn't care for me anymore, but you're not talking about it. You're not saying what's going on in your life. How can we make this something that we can work on together?
And also goes by gender, right? Because if you're female in a heterosexual relationship and you're trying to talk about sex with your partner, you might feel that you might be labeled with some not so good words. So you don't want to approach your partner because you don't want to feel like you have too much desire for sex or something like that. And by the other hand, if you're male and you want to talk about sex with a female partner that does not talk about sex, they might feel that you're pressuring them to do things that they are not ready to talk about. So there's both ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of judgments around sex and desire that we put on ourselves and society puts on us. And this really goes for couples of every variety. So it's important to talk to your partner about what you need in a relationship and in intimacy, because intimacy goes far beyond intercourse. And that's something that we talk a lot to the couples that we work with about. It's not just the act of intercourse. It starts way before then. Are you connected to your partner? How close are you feeling? And then you can lead up to intercourse or whatever other form of sex feels right for you.
Yeah, and we know by research that the more you talk about sex outside the bedroom, the better your sex life will be. So it's a very important skill to learn. And if you have not learned and you want some tips and some language how to start, talk to your partner, start therapy. Talk to your therapist about sex and talk about your limitations and your worries, and then try to learn those narratives that are going to be necessary to improve your sex life.
Yeah, it's really a game changer. I feel like it's one of the things that consistently gets talked about with couples that we work with, but it's never the thing they're coming in with, because there might be hesitation to come in with, I want to talk to you about our sex life, but it's always interwoven into whatever other issue is going on. So the feelings and the attitudes about it, and it can be really transformative to the closeness and satisfaction of healthy couples. So,
And the question was that they have not had sex for a long time, if that was a red flag. It depends. We have to figure out why you're not having sex. What we know is that the partner who has the lower libido is the one that controls how much sex there is in a relationship. So you have to figure out, is that you, is it your partner that has lower libido and not interested in sex? And the lower libido is because you're not connected emotionally, it's because you have too much stress and tension in a relationship, or it's hormonal. So there's many different ways to determine why the sex is not happening. Also, we can take care of that in therapy.
So this sort of leads into another question that was asked around this topic is, can a relationship survive without sex? What if our needs just don't match anymore? And that's sort of two questions, like, can you have a healthy relationship that is asexual, that does not include sex, or can you have one that doesn't include sex if their needs don't match? So,
well, by American standards, a couple that have sex once a month or less are considered already a asexual couple. Having sex only once a month is not enough for a relationship.
Okay, that surprises me. I didn't know that statistic, and that surprises me.
Yeah. So you have to have sex at least twice a month to not be considered asexual. But the answer is, can the relationship survive? It can survive if both partners have the same level or lower level of libido. Or if the partner that has a little higher libido adjusts their libido, thinking that sex is not pleasant for them, is not a big part of the relationship, and they appreciate more the companionship and the romantic side that they had grown throughout the years. Yes, it can. But that only happens after menopause. And if you're not there yet, if you're not at certain age that your body is not working anymore, the guys have problems with erection, and the ladies have problems of low hormones, and maybe you should take a look at why you have a lower libido and why you're not interested in sex.
Yeah. I want to talk about the asexual label for a minute, because I feel like that's such a charged word. And I can imagine being on the other end of this podcast, listening to this, going, oh no, my partner and I have definitely gone more than a month at times without having sex. And so, with that definition, that doesn't equal unhappy relationship.
No.
It can equal you've gone through a period of your time where there's either high stress or there's something else going on, and how you come back together and find your way back to sort of the rhythm and pattern that you both feel comfortable in, is a big one. Yeah.
I think it's important to observe if you notice that you're going by more than a month without having sex, to have that open conversation and figure out why the sex is not happening. Is there high stress? Are the kids sleeping in the bedroom? One of you traveling and or too tired, and the work schedule is different. So all of this is part of why sex does not happen. So perhaps you need to talk about when you're going to be the ideal time to initiate sex. People said, I don't like to put sex in my calendar, but sometimes you have to, because if it's not happening naturally, you have to give that little push then you start feeling that sexual energy come back again, and then you're on that road that you're having sex more than once a month.
Mm. And I think the longer you go in that pattern of not having sex, it becomes comfortable. It becomes the new normal to be somewhat separate. And then it can be harder to find the broaching to come back together. It can seem almost like an insurmountable hurdle. And considering how to create intimacy without sex first is a nice way to get back together. So almost take sex off the table, have that discussion to say we need to reconnect, and we need to, reconnect by like passionate kissing or holding one another, and just give yourself a break from the fear or the nervousness or whatever you might be having that's blocking you from wanting even to do those things with your partner because you fear it's going to lead to sex. It's a good sort of stepping stone.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the avoidance. Why
Yeah.
people will not have sex and avoid trying to initiate sex. In the female point of view, it might be that lower libido, or might be that they're too tired, and then, oh, do I have to shave my legs? Do I have to take a shower, brush my teeth, fix the bed, put the candles on, put the music on? I'm just gonna go to sleep, right? Too much work. Or about the sex act itself. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, my body, I don't like it, and I'm not ready for penetration. And the guys, oh, this is gonna be much work. I just want to give like a quick sex, just have a quick sex. And the woman said, no, I don't like that. So there's a lot of factors, right, that
Yeah.
could prevent you to engage in sex. So you have to discuss those things with your partner.
Yeah. And it does not come in all shapes and sizes. So there is a place in everyone's life for quick sex. Like, let's go, let's get it done.
Yeah.
The kids are going to wake up soon. I've got other stuff going on. And then there's a place for sort of longer, more romantic or explorative sex. One size does not fit all in every part of everyone's daily life. So that's sort of open communication, that because you have one or the other, it doesn't have to be everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was our talk about sex
Yeah.
today. Keep sending your questions and we're going to be answering soon. I'm Dr. Rosana Marzullo with Tampa Therapy and Wellness.
And I'm Kate Evanoff. Please give us a call and we'd love to help you.